It's 9 a.m. on a beautiful Sunday morning, and you wake up full of hope and ready to start a peaceful day. But when you throw open your curtains to let in the sunlight, you find a wild pig standing in your front yard. Unless you live by a farm or a swampland with lots of nice mud pits, or maybe a forest full of truffles, you probably have some questions. Where did this pig come from? Is it normal for it to be here? Can it smell the bacon cooking in the kitchen? Do I need to be afraid? If you have any of those questions or more normal ones like about science or math or discovery or how to use Microsoft Excel, stick with me because I'm going to tell you about a class everyone should take. One that can help you answer almost any question and learn almost anything about our wild, wonderful world. Hi, I'm Erica Brzozowski, this is Study Hall, and here are 7 reasons everyone should take a statistics class. The first reason you should take a statistics class is because statistics is literally everywhere. I know, math teachers are always saying that. And if you suffered through trig and algebra in high school, you probably gave a big old side eye to the idea that math would come in handy in the real world. I loved linear algebra, so no shade to math from me. But even I'm not out here calculating cosines on the sidewalk or solving for derivatives on the car ride to work. But statistics, it's a whole different animal. That's because statistics really isn't just math. It's the study of data, which is the word sciencey people use to mean stuff we observe about the world. So the colors of the squirrels you saw on the sidewalk, or the miles per gallon you got on your drive to work, or the number of people who are killed every year by wild pigs. All of that is data. And statistics is all about coming up with ways to collect, analyze, interpret, and communicate about data. It's how we go from a thought like, man, I've seen an awful lot of aggressive feral pigs around lately, to a headline like this. So in a way, you're kind of doing statistics all the time. Noticing that there are a lot more black squirrels today than brown ones, or trying to figure out if your car gets better gas mileage on the highway, or wondering if pigs really are more deadly than sharks, those are all statistical thoughts. And in the age of Instagram watching the search habits of everyone on Earth, and telescopes catching waves from deep space, and Steve Jobs tracking your heart rate from beyond the grave, data is more everywhere than it's ever been in history. So learning statistics can put you in the driver's seat, giving you ways to make sense of all that information. Statistics sounds like it belongs to the world of math and science. And it's true. Doctors and chemists and physicists and biologists use stats all the time as they collect and analyze data to test out all of their ideas. But they're not the only ones. Psychologists and anthropologists and sociologists and educators and politicians and historians, basically anyone who's trying to do any kind of research is going to use statistics as they try to learn new things about their field. They might use a lot of quantitative data, or data that comes in the form of a number, like the number of cells that survived a chemotherapy treatment, or the number of people who still speak the Navajo language, or the number of feral pigs gallivanting in your front yard. Or they might use qualitative data, which is more descriptive, like a patient's descriptions of their symptoms, or the different ways the Navajo language is passed down to new generations, or the frankly terrifying looks in those pigs' eyes. Those types of data help researchers, no matter their field, find out if their ideas actually hold up. Like if I'm developing a new chemotherapy drug, I better be able to show how well it actually works. Or if I'm writing about how the Navajo language has become endangered, I better be able to back that up too. So statistics is how we learn about basically anything. Which, if you're a math hater, might sound like kind of a bummer. But it's actually one of the coolest things about statistics. Because it's so connected to things we study in the real world, it can be a lot more approachable than other kinds of math. Which means even if you hated trig and algebra, stats can be a great way to build your math literacy and make you more confident with numbers in all kinds of situations. Learning any kind of math is hard. Mastering all those new symbols and patterns and rules can be a lot like learning a whole new language. But in statistics, at least some of the words are still in English. You'll almost always be studying real-world problems about real-world things, like cancer cells or feral pigs. And the answers you find will be sensible real-world statements, like cancer is still more deadly than pigs. But statistics is a little bit of a Trojan horse, or a Trojan pig, if you will. So inside those nice English sentences, it's sneaking you some math lingo too. Like you'll learn to calculate z-scores and p-values and r-squared and chi-squared, and no, those are not the names of your local DJs. You'll learn to make data into tables and graphs, which help you see the relationships between different numbers, and to write sentences that communicate exactly what you know and don't know about your data. And you'll learn to make sense of stuff like this, and figure out what it means about your feral pig problem. Once you know the language of statistics, you'll never unlearn it. You'll have those skills in your pocket for whatever else you want to learn, math or otherwise. Statistics doesn't just teach you new ways to think, though. It also teaches you how to use all kinds of different tools to work with data, which can open the door to new jobs and careers, but hopefully not the feral pig waiting on your front stoop. Tons of jobs in our information age are about making use of data, whether it's search data that helps you build a new algorithm, demographic data that helps you get to know your clientele, or lethal pig data that helps you write the next groundbreaking news headline. So the stuff you learned in a stats class is going to be a huge help when it comes time to start applying. Stuff like using a graphing calculator to find summary statistics and confidence intervals, a spreadsheet program like Microsoft Excel to record and manipulate data, and statistical software like RStudio and SPSS to perform high-level analyses and make pretty graphs is going to make you statistically more likely to get hired than someone without those skills. So whether you want to be an engineer or a marketer or an HR rep or a person who makes statistics videos on the internet, statistical know-how is a hot commodity, and the words proficient in RStudio are a cherry on top of any resume. Stats has a lot of other practical benefits too, like helping you destroy your friends in combat. In reasoned argument. Like, say your friend comes up and tells you that the deadliest animal on Earth isn't pigs or even sharks, but the blue-ringed octopus, because they make a toxin that's 1,200 times more poisonous than cyanide and has no known antidote. But, stats wizard that you are, maybe that's not the whole story. So armed with all your new knowledge and tools, you start assembling your forces to take your friend down for good. Like maybe you pull up some quantitative data to show that while some people do die of blue-ringed octopus bites, lots of them also survive and make full recoveries. You might even find some qualitative data to show that blue-ringed octopuses don't seem to want to bite people and only do it if they're cornered and scared. And maybe you discover that while feral pigs kill almost 20 people a year, 4 times as many as all species of sharks, there are only 3 recorded deaths from blue-ringed octopus bites ever. And after long hours of data analysis of all the world's most dangerous animals, you figure out that the most deadly one isn't a venomous octopus or a demonic pig or even a shark, but the lowly mosquito. You could even run hypothesis tests on that data to make sure the differences you found were significant and not just flukes. And to top it all off, you can make a bunch of fancy charts to show your friend once and for all just how wrong they are. Okay, maybe that's a little over the top, but even if you don't want to make a whole poster presentation, learning statistics gives you all kinds of skills that can help you convince people of stuff, like data literacy, which helps you figure out what your observations really mean in context, and data visualization, where you make data into charts and graphs to show other people what it means, and science communication, which helps you share what you've learned with other people in a way that makes sense and is backed up by the numbers. But stats doesn't just help you convince people of stuff, it can help protect you from people who are trying to convince you. Unfortunately, not everyone who's out there using statistics is doing it as honestly as you and your meta-analysis of the blue-ringed octopus. It's where we get that great line about the 3 kinds of lies. Lies, damned lies, and statistics. Because if you don't know your way around statistics, it can be really easy to get tricked by them. Like maybe in your deadly things research, you came across the hypothetical article saying, studies show that lip gloss leads to breast cancer. Sure enough, the authors did do a study and found a positive correlation between lip gloss use and incidence of breast cancer, which means that people who got breast cancer were more likely to be lip gloss wearers than those who didn't. But with all your new data literacy, you decide to dig a little deeper, and you discover that the study groups of lip gloss wearers and breast cancer havers had something else in common too. They were both more likely to be assigned female at birth. So maybe the real breast cancer connection is with biological sex, not lip gloss. People pull that kind of statistical trickery about all kinds of things, with even higher stakes than a lip gloss smear campaign. Political campaigns and crime reports and social media websites, and sometimes even published, bona fide scientific studies misuse statistics to try and convince people of stuff that isn't actually true. They might do it with spurious correlations, like our cancer lip gloss friends, or by cherry picking, where you only report the data points that show what you want them to show and ignore all the other ones. Or by getting data from biased samples that don't actually represent the thing they're supposed to be studying. Or with misleading charts and graphs that try to make the data say something they don't really say. But studying statistics makes you wise to those tricks. So when you see all these surprising headlines about crime and disease and feral pigs and sharks, you'll know how to figure out if they're really telling the truth. And that, really, is the ultimate reason to study statistics. It changes the way you think about the stuff you think you know. It teaches you where information really comes from, how people actually learn new things about all kinds of stuff, from cancer to dying languages to deadly animals. And it sets you up to learn new things too, to ask your own questions questions and make your own observations and draw your own scientific conclusions about the way things really are. Because statistics isn't just math. It's not even just the study of data. It's one of the best ways we humans have of discovering new things and sharing them with each other and inching ever closer to the truth about everything. So the next time a feral pig shows up on your doorstep, you can gather some data, analyze the situation, and discover that you are, statistically, face to face with a deadly predator. Because hey, the only thing more terrifying than a wild pig is the unknown. And against the unknown, statistics has got your back. This episode was suggested and written by Maya Lannon, Study Hall's associate script editor. She's a big fan of all animals, deadly, feral, or otherwise, and also of democratizing knowledge. She thanks statistics and her high school stats teacher, Ms. Kolnich, for helping her understand math, research, and the whole world. And she thinks everyone should have that chance. If you're interested in taking an online statistics course for just $25 and unlocking the chance to earn college credit from ASU, check out our gostudyhall.com or click on the button to learn more. And if you want to help us out, give this video a like, tell us what class you think everyone should take, and smash that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, see you next time.